Reprogramming is real for humans. Hello to my 426 subscribers. Thank you so much for subscribing. And to the 5, 10, 15, 20, sometimes 100 people who engage with my content, thank you so much for engaging. Now tonight I want to talk a little bit about programming and just how the realness of it, just the fact it is real, and the fact that we're all living under some type of programming. Some of us were programmed consciously, some of us unconsciously, some of us were programmed for failure, some of us were programmed for success. And our programming was largely determined by our environment. And our environment included our physical geographic location. Our environment includes the people that we surround ourselves by, our early exposure, the people, situations, and experiences we were exposed to as children, and also, very importantly, the language that we were exposed to as children. So that determined whether or not we were programmed for success or we were programmed for failure. When you zoom out and take a look at the world, it is easy to see that most of us, majority of the population, is and was and continues to be programmed for failure. Because to date, we still talk about the 1% and the 1% and the 1% and the 1% that does really well and is really successful and whatnot. And it seems, when we think about it, when we look at it, we say, oh, it's unfair and they have an advantage over us, or they had this and they had that, or they had. But it's not so much the things they had, like the people and the experiences and the support system that they had. Now, most of us are programmed for failure, and that programming is done unconsciously. Because why? Two people got together, had sex, somebody got pregnant, and they decided to have a child. Because fortunately or unfortunately for us, the most pleasurable experience on earth, maybe in heaven, I don't know, never been there, has a consequence of the most significant responsibility one can ever undertake. And a lot of us undertake that responsibility without any sort of or any type of preparation. So we are left with just what we know and what we have been programmed with, and that is all we can pass on to the child that we know have a responsibility for, and we know have to or will be influencing for the rest of their lives, unless the situation changes somewhere along the line or some outside influence happens to tap in and whatnot. So most of us are just handed down things that were handed down to our parents that they did not question, they did not understand that the language in itself is what is used to program a certain belief system, a certain self-image, a certain level of expectation, what to expect from life, what to expect from the people around you, what to expect from your surroundings, what to expect from your environment, just what to expect from yourself. And that determines whether you place a limit on yourself, how low that limit is, or how high or limitless that limit will be. And then there are those of us who are programmed for success. So no matter what we do, it's like we can't fail. We will never fail. We will never experience poverty. We will never experience, certain lack by virtue of just the environment that we were raised in. But there is good news. that programming can be interrupted. That programming can be changed. That programming can be reprogrammed, and that programming can be recoded. It can be. It is simple to do, but it's not easy to do. But it is doable. Once it first takes awareness and an understanding that you are actually programmed to think, to speak, to act, and to believe the way that you are currently doing. And if you want to change the results in your life, then you have to be willing and prepared to do the work to change those fundamental things. And as I said before, reprogramming is simple, but it's not easy. It takes commitment, and it takes a willingness to feel silly, to feel stupid, to feel alone, to feel isolated, to walk through the wilderness. It takes a commitment, and you have to be prepared to go through all of those things, because those are the things that you're going to experience the moment you decide to reprogram your programming, to change the programming that was installed intentionally or otherwise. But the good news is, just like a computer network or a computer system, the programming can change. Programming can be upgraded. As with most computer systems, every couple of years or every year, there's an upgrade. An upgraded version comes out, or an upgrade is sent out. Even with our phones, ever so often, our phones require an upgrade, or else we cannot continue to use it successfully. We are the same thing. If we want to experience any success in our lives, if we're not currently happy with where we are, and if, like me, you discovered that you were living in survival mode, and it is in your best interest to, you determine that it's in your best interest to change that, then you will definitely need to figure out and take the steps, do the work to change and upgrade your programming. It can be done. It must be done, and you should take the time out to do it. So yes, programming is real for human beings, whether it's conscious or unconsciously done to you, but it is real.